You question him about Putin directing attacks against schools, markets, hospitals, playgrounds. And on top of this, in this instance, he's abducted 20,000 children, a clear war crime. So you were very clear then Vladimir Putin was a war criminal. Did you know what you said to then nominee Secretary of State Tillerson? You said you were very discouraged in his inability to accept that Putin was indeed a war criminal. Your words, we don't need any more.
You used to be well aware of how having the world on our side through diplomacy, cultural influence, and through humanitarian role keeps Americans safe and our economy strong and growing. But your familiarity with the irreplaceable role of the institutions you oversee makes it even more baffling as to why this administration has seemingly done everything in its power to estrange us from our allies, sow distrust of America around the world. Insulting and abandoning our allies does not put America first. Cozying up to dictators and accepting lavish gifts from petrostates does not put America first.
We need to define what the national interest is. What is good for America? That doesn't mean we don't care about the world. That doesn't mean we don't care about great causes on this planet. But it means that when it comes to the conduct of foreign policy, whether it's the policies we stake out or the dollars we're spending, it has to be aligned to a defined national interest. What is in it for America?
What can you tell me about your plans and the president's plans and policies to support freedom around the globe, and what are your plans as far as potentially for democracy? Is that a priority? Democracy programs. So give me your read on that.
Well, a couple things. First of all, I think in the context of our broader foreign policy, we need to recognize that there are countries, for example, whose governance systems are not the ones we would want for our own country, but nonetheless, we need to have a relationship with them because it's in our geopolitical interests. Two countries I recently visited, Saudi Arabia and Qatar. Saudi Arabia is not a democratic society, but yet they're an important strategic partner for us in the Middle East for a variety of reasons.
I wanted to follow up also in the same vein with international family planning and reproductive health programs. You have also canceled all of these programs. These programs are life-saving. In 2024 alone, they were estimated to save the lives of 34,000 women and girls, prevent over 5 million unsafe abortions, and serve over 47 million women and couples around the world with modern contraceptive care. You are statutorily required to spend $575 million in bilateral international family planning awards, as Congress provided in 2024. What is the plan?
There's no plan. As I said, on those programs, with regards to that, there's no plan to spend that money. We're not going to be in that business globally. I mean, we're not going to do it.
You have built a reputation as someone who stood up to dictators, someone who defended our democracy from foreign threats. And I know that firsthand because you, Mr. Secretary, defended me in the past. When President Bukele of El Salvador targeted me, telling his followers, don't vote for Rep. Torres, endorsing my opponent, and unleashing a campaign of vile threats, harassment, intimidation, and leading an online lynching against me 3 times, you stood with me against this outrageous, dangerous authoritarian. I'm a bit confused with what has happened. You're now shaking hands and cutting deals with him.
Last week, you said the U.S. is troubled by the humanitarian situation in Gaza, echoing in some respects the words of our new Pope, Pope Leo, that it is calling the situation in the Palestinian enclave yet more worrying and saddening. Quote, I renew my fervent appeal to allow for the entry of fair humanitarian help and to bring the aid to the hostilities, the devastating price which is paid by children, the elderly, and the sick.
Obviously, Israel is a key ally of the United States. And so we are always careful about what we say publicly about the nature of our conversations with them. But I think they've acknowledged in their own statement that due to the intervention of the United States and others is the reason why they've started to allow aid, albeit, as you've pointed out, not at the levels that are necessary.
Secretary Rubio, what strategies is the department employing to ensure that anti-trafficking efforts remain effective and targeted, particularly in high-risk regions where women and children are most vulnerable?
In many cases, some of these programs in the past were about, frankly, accelerating migration, helping people along the migratory path as they came towards the United States. And we want to prevent mass migration because mass migration lends itself to human trafficking. I would argue in many cases mass migration, frankly, is human trafficking because you are getting people, you are charging them money, promising to bring them to the border of the United States, and then committing horrifying atrocities along the way.